This is a very different kind of session, and I'm very happy to be holding it. It is about two different subjects which are very close to my heart, yoga and denim. Yoga means to join together. It also indicates oneness. It is a means to improve your physical, mental, and spiritual connect. Yoga is timeless, but it has also evolved to adjust to contemporary requirements. We see different kind of yogas around the world. People have been adapting to it, but of course, there is one basic yoga which has been carrying on for thousands of years, and there are adaptations to that. On the other hand, denim is something which we are all associated with and love it. So denim is comparatively much younger. It is in many ways timeless when we consider it as a product which has been evolving itself over the last 150 years. Today I have met two friends with me who are both yoga and denim experts. We will try to understand from them how yoga and denim are connected and if this connection can be made deeper or not. My first friend is Ebru Debagg, who comes with 30 years of denim industry experience, based in Ortha, formerly in Ortha, and currently in Surti as the company's sales and marketing director with a focus on regeneration and innovation. She also founded her think tank Indigo Friends, where she connects with the global community to evoke collaborative inspiration and experience for a better future. She has been practicing yoga for 18 years and has been integrating her learnings in yoga as well as her recent passion, which is regenerative agriculture, into the denim world. Annie Wells is the founder of Simply Suzette, an online platform aiming to bridge the gap between the denim industry and the consumer by providing education on denim production and the denim supply chain. She works with many different companies, mills, manufacturers, brands, chemical companies, etc., to highlight their best practices within the industry and to inspire others to follow suit. She has been practicing yoga for about 2 years now, where she has transferred the act of mindfulness to her approach to denim. So may I welcome both of you to kindly join me, and I really thank you for this wonderful session which you have agreed to. I think it is something very close to your hearts also.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk about yoga and denim together in one place because both are my passion.
Thank you, Sandeep, and thank you, Annie. This is great. So, thank you for doing this. It's a great perspective. And as we focus more on both sustainability and mindfulness, we see much more in common. So I think these two subjects can help each other, complement each other.
We can kind of draw inspiration from, both can draw inspiration from each other. So for how long you have been practicing yoga, both of you? Like it's been a long time, and how you've been finding it? How useful you have been finding it?
I started practicing yoga almost 18 years ago. And the reason I started was not something spiritual. It was a merely physical need. I had put on too much weight because of traveling, traveling while working and being pregnant. And I needed to just like get this whole weight off myself. And my former CEO, the CEO of Orta at the time, suggested I start practicing yoga. And it's been a journey. It's been a real journey, and I've learned a lot. I've traveled a lot for yoga as well, in my travels for work, I started then looking for hotels which are closer to yoga studios. So I see the whole thing as, again, being in collaboration with one another, very complementary to one another. Because I think our industry, the way our industry has evolved, is also it's on a path. So it's very, very much, there's so much points in common that can both be inspirational for both sides.
Yeah, that's, you were able to lose your weight, and in terms of physical experience and let's say peace in the mind, you found yourselves improving in these aspects?
Yes, I see the impact of regular practice actually immediately, and then I was so much fond of it. I set up a yoga studio in Orta as well.
Oh, wow.
For 2 years, I started practicing with my team back then. And then that was not enough. I did teacher trainings around the world. And then I co-owned a yoga studio in Turkey for, again, 3 years, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time. That's a long experience, actually. And you have studied, I think, relatively.
Definitely a lot later than Ebru did. I'm definitely not as experienced, but whenever I see Ebru, I always ask her about any questions I have, and we have great conversations whenever I see you about yoga. But I started about 2 years ago, and it really actually changed my life. I used to be a professional rhythmic gymnast in my past life. But after I retired, I turned to running and kind of weightlifting, which were great, but I never really enjoyed it. And they were more just to stay active and to stay fit, but it wasn't really giving me that mental escape that I was looking for, like within my day. So then one day I decided to just try yoga, and I really fell in love. The calming practice really, it wasn't just soothing, it also felt empowering to me, and it helped me find and appreciate the quieter moments throughout my days, even outside of the yoga studio. So that 1 hour in the yoga studio just really gave me an escape, and I fell in love with that escape, and it trickled into other areas of my life as well. So I really fell in love with the practice, and I really found a mental wellness with it, and that's where I really fell in love with it. And I do like still physical activity, but not as I guess not strenuous, I would say, as like weightlifting, for example.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it doesn't really tire you. It basically you relieves your all the stresses in your body. I think that's what I feel. Ebru, what do you feel? What are the basic characteristics, which are common between denim and yoga? Can we compare these two?
So I would like to refer to the consciousness part of it, because I think, you know, what we have been discussing in the denim industry for so long, sustainability, is an act of consciousness. And yoga kind of helps build that consciousness. One of the greatest teachers, Patabi Joyce, has been saying yoga is 99% practice and 1% theory. So this is, again, I refer to the greenwashing in the industry, or, you know, how we need to actually walk the talk. So we have to put all this practice in action. So I find, you know, again, very much the similarity between yoga and the sustainability aspect of our business in that respect. Also the community. So, okay, on our mat, we can practice yoga by ourselves, but it's actually the essence is built into the community of it. So both industries, I mean, yoga and our industry, are built around collaboration, partnership, understanding, and that's supportive of this community. The community helps each other out. And during my practice, I always try to keep my drishti. So drishti is a point where you really stare. So, and that's like where you want
focus, like a focus.
Yeah, it's a focus point. So I think, again, in our industry, that is what much needed. We have to have the drishti of our industry set right. So again, you know, a lot of things in common. So I find this as in evolution. It's not just like a list of things that are in common, but it's in progress. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Annie, what do you feel about the common things? Then we try to filter out, you know, once we have a discussion, we try to filter out really the strongest common points between the two.
I definitely agree with Ebru here that mindfulness and the consciousness is definitely a commonality here. I really would like to see that consciousness come through on every step of the supply chain, and just being mindful with every step of the supply chain too, because in the recent years, you know, we focused on tiers 1 and 2 and showcasing those and translating those values to the consumer, but we haven't started to work our way back and make that information available also. So I was fortunate enough to visit Scitex in February before everything hit, and I was so inspired by the holistic approach that they take to manufacturing, and every step is really well thought through, making sure that the inputs that are going into it are safe and clean, but also making sure the outputs are safe and clean as well at every stage of the supply chain. So I really love this idea of taking the mindfulness and consciousness from yoga and applying that to denim and a holistic approach to the way we do business and we manufacture things. So I really think those are a very strong tie, but also yoga is meant to improve your flexibility as well. And I think denim is so flexible now. The definition of it has changed and is changing so much. It used to just mean an 100% cotton garment, rigid, no stretch, no rinse even. So the definition has changed so much to now incorporate super high stretch jeggings even. So we never really know what the future for denim really holds. There's so much opportunity. So I think the concept of improving our flexibility and adaptability to yoga as well is something the denim industry can follow suit as well. So, yeah.
And can we also say that, we can also draw inspiration from yoga that with the minimum of resources, you can, probably bring out very good results. So, I mean, that is something probably our industry can take inspiration from, and as we are moving towards more and more sustainable productions, probably that is also one aspect we can draw inspiration from.
Yeah, I agree. For sure, more sustainable production. I think yoga practitioners are very in tune with their environments and care deeply for the creatures and people on this planet as well. So we can definitely take inspiration from that in terms of sustainable production as well. So.
And one more thing I would like to add, like back in year 2008 and 9, when all this like more athleisure activewear started becoming popular, so I think our industry learned a lot from that consumer, and it just tied into the whole, way we actually started designing and engineering the products. So the whole idea, because we had the stretch fabrics before that, even before that, but with the whole athleisure trend becoming really popular, the denim industry had to kind of serve the need of that consumer as well. So there was a new opening in that area. I remember this very well because at the time, it was the time I set up my studio, and I actually practiced in these jeans I bought from Gap. They were super soft in Japan. They were super soft and super stretchy, but it was as if I was wearing my yoga pants, and I practiced in those jeans and I loved it. So I think we learned a lot from yoga, from a product wise as well.
But, if you see from a holistic perspective, not many people actually still using denim when they are doing yoga. Still, probably we need to have the right kind of products which can which can compete with the athleisure products, which are super stretch and which are very soft, very fine. So, do you think we can reach that level with our denim products?
I definitely see space for denim. We just mentioned how flexible the definition of denim can be. But in terms of denim and yoga, I believe it would have to be mindfully made, because those who practice yoga are in touch with their environments, like we said. So, and I think right now there aren't too many high stretch fabrics that kind of check those boxes, but we are starting to see more bio-stretch based fabrics, which is very exciting. So I think there definitely is space for it, but currently I'm not positive.
I agree with Ani there, because I think it's the inspiration more at this point rather than the actual act of it. And I think there's still room to grow. All these biodegradable kind of elastanes that could be introduced and which could be embraced by, again, a more conscious consumer. And then who knows, maybe, we start wearing our jeans to yoga studios as well.
As an inspiration, maybe as the technology is evolving, and maybe we can see over the next couple of years some really cool products which people would like wear. I mean, while doing yoga, and they are still denims.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and do you think we can say denim is also timeless in certain ways, like yoga is timeless?
Absolutely. I think both are extremely timeless. Denim is 100% timeless like yoga. I mean, yoga is an ancient practice that has helped so many people overcome their obstacles in life. And I think the same goes for denim. Denim is a true classic, something you can always rely on or to turn to when you're in doubt. And I think denim should be trendless and seasonless because it's such a global garment. It really spans across all cultures and geographies. So yoga has now done the same. Many cultures practice yoga and rely on it for their livelihoods and mental well-being as well. So I think both are going to be a true classic throughout the span of history and the span of time. So, yeah.
I agree with you. I mean,
I do not agree with anymore there. And I think both yoga and denim, they're for everyone. So everyone can practice yoga to different degrees, but everyone can practice yoga and everyone can actually wear denim. So, again, very complementary to each other.
Because denim is a very democratic fabric. It is, you can find from the cheapest one. Even the even a person with the lowest levels of incomes, they can afford it to a certain extent. And so the entire world can do it, use it. And same goes for yoga. Yoga can be done by anybody. So should we look at some nice poses from your side? Would like to see how. What are your favorite yoga poses? And Ebru, I think you're wearing denims. Are you wearing denims or? Okay.
Yes, I have my jeans on. I have my jeans on, yes. And I chose actually 5 poses just to introduce a little bit of yoga. And I'll try to just demonstrate them as well as give a little bit of an explanation as how they help. And what I find to be complementary again with our denim and jeans. So the first one is what is called Utkatasana, and it's called actually the chair pose or the thunderbolt pose as well. This is a fierce pose. So when you start from Tadasana, from the mountain pose, and then you drop your sit bones to your heels, and then you lift your arms up alongside your ears. So this is a fierce pose. And here the drishti, normally you have to look up, but you can look in front as well. This is building all the muscles along your legs. They are active. This is a very good pose for the back as well. And again, this raises a lot of attention. So requires a lot of attention and focus point. I love this pose. It's not an easy one, but it's a great one to really stay for like 10 breaths and feel the impact. And for instance, the jeans I'm wearing is perfect for that because I can really stretch my body without any really strenuous impact on the jeans. So this is a
you don't feel uncomfortable. You don't feel uncomfortable in the jeans, both of you?
Not at all.
Okay, so that's inspiring. All right. So, Ebru, this was the pose for basically for having more effect on the thighs and the backs.
Yes, and again, because the English version of the pose is called chair pose as well as the thunderbolt, it just invokes this like thunder energy in the person. It brings you energy, just uplifts you.
All right, that's what we need. In fact, I think probably you have selected poses which are very relevant for today's time when people are at home and they really need to be energized and they're not able to go to gyms and other places. So we really need those kind of poses.
Yes.
Annie, now you are showing something. Oh, we lost you. I can't do it from my end.
Unmute. There we go. So I will be showing tree pose next, which is also called Asana. My apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. But this one is supposed to strengthen your legs and your lower back, and you slowly move your foot up towards your knee, and you place it there and bring your arms up to kind of resemble a tree, basically. And this pose is supposed to make you feel grounded and connected to your roots, kind of like a tree. Its roots are connected to the earth. So your feet is the
makes you mentally more stable, probably.
Yes, it's supposed to bring you balance and stability, which is very important. We all need balance in our life.
And how long can you remain in this pose?
This pose would generally be held for 1 minute.
All right. But I mean, some people are able to remain in this pose for a long time. I think that's what I see. So when you get
this one, I can stay for a while because it's quite relaxing. Actually, it really does truly make you feel grounded. You feel the planting of your foot and the connection to the ground, and it does strengthen your hamstrings as well.
That's a wonderful pose and very beautiful. You know, this pose looks very beautiful also. Gives a very beautiful look of the person. So can we see, Ebru, what next you are taking up?
Yeah. The second pose, again, I'm going along with energizing the body, and it's called Virabhadrasana B. It's the second warrior pose. So this is a long stance pose. You have to open up your legs. And again, this is a pose which actually works your hips. It's a hip opener, and it's a very nice pose for sculpturing the lower part of the body as well as the upper part, because with this pose, you're using also your arms. So you move your arms alongside your body. And again, the drishti is very important. To look where you're looking is very important. You look at your hand, which is over your bent knee. And this is a pose where you really extend your body like a single arrow, moving in both directions, but still also keeping everything to the center. So again, I find this pose to be very relevant for all the sustainability efforts in our industry, as well as, again, wearing jeans, this is stretching the body, sculpturing the body. This is a radiant pose. So again, staying at home, we need the radiance, we need the concentration, and we need to feel that our bodies are actually working. If you hold this pose long enough, you will start sweating. So even if you're standing with Virabhadrasana, you start sweating after like 20 breaths, long in and out breaths, you start sweating. And of course, the drishti helps as well. So this is the warrior pose.
And this makes you brave. It is supposed this asana is supposed to make you brave. You
yes,
lose your fear. You lose
warrior.
your fear. Become a warrior.
I'm the warrior.
And this is also, yes, as you said, this again gives strength to lower and upper both parts of the body. And I think one important thing which probably is there for most of the asanas is that you have to keep on breathing regularly and deeply. That's very important.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Annie is coming.
So the next one is called Downward Dog in English. And you will just walk your hands out. And this is another energizing pose, actually, but it's really great to remove tension from your lower back, as well as a great stretch for your calves and your hamstrings, and also strengthens your arms. So this pose does wonders for your whole body, and part of the reason it is great for energizing yourself as well. And generally I like to hold that pose For maximum 1 minute because of the upside down for myself personally. But I'd love to see this pose done throughout the community to energize ourselves, to bring this conversation to action. Start turning all of this conversation we've been doing on these webinars and whatnot and turn this conversation to action. So, yeah.
And this is not an easy pose, because when you are your feet to remain straight is not easy. It's very difficult. I know. I've been trying this. It's not so easy.
Not
Anyway.
so easy.
Ebru, now what's your next one?
The next one is I built it onto actually the warrior pose because the flow is very important in yoga as well. We flow in yoga. So there's this rhythmic actually, again, dance. And I find it quite relevant to how we make denim. So one thing comes after another. It's like a dance. It's like a flow. So you move into warrior 2 pose and you sit here you take this asana for a good 10 breaths. And then you put your front arm onto your leg. You rest it on your leg. And then you move your top arm alongside your ear. So this pose, in addition to all the attributes that the warrior pose has with the legs, you also open up your chest. And opening up the chest is actually in a lot of the poses in yoga. It's a very symbolic action as well as very beneficial for physically as well. So this is where we open up our heart to the sky. And again, the drishti is very important. We take a look at our upper arm. So there's still the direction. There's a direction in this pose. And everything is stretching again 2 ways, but again, everything is centered as well. This pose is not just built again for the lower part of the body, but also for the upper part of the body. So it's a back strengthener as well as sculpturing the lower part of the body as well.
And it's on the sides also. It has a good impact on your sides.
Yes, the whole side stretch part of
Sides
it.
is very good. That was wonderful pose. Okay. Annie?
The next pose is actually kind of similar to this one. It's going to be triangle pose. So what we do is we get into kind of a warrior stance with your legs, where one of your legs or feet is facing to parallel, and your other foot is facing the other direction. If that makes sense. Yeah, so it's like warrior pose, and we'll lean down, and if you are able to use it without your hands, keep leaning down until your other hand touches the ground. If not,
looks nice.
If you are not able to do this, though, the last pose we did with Ebru is a great one to also do. But I love this pose because it really gets the deepest side stretch, and it really helps with your flexibility in your obliques and your actual side back as well. And it is a strengthener for your legs, your calves, your hamstrings, and it's a pose that makes you feel extremely grounded as well. But I wanted to talk kind of about the triangle aspect here. We're kind of creating a trifecta of a pose that helps with strengthening, balancing, and also grounding you at the same time. But I wanted to compare it to how the industry needs to work with the consumer and also government policy to create a trifecta and bring us closer to achieving our goals in the industry.
That's, I think that's a super side stretch, because when you go on this pose, your sides are really stretched out.
Yes, it's a very good stretch.
It's not easy. I mean, all the poses that you're doing are really not easy. I'm sure the people who are doing yoga, they know that. So, but yes, one thing is there, I mean, which you have to be, I think, what I can see from you, and also I know, and I'm also doing it, you have to be very comfortable. You don't have to really stress yourself. You have to be very comfortable when you're doing yoga. It's not like gym, you really want to stress yourself, but But in yoga, you have to be really remaining comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Ebru, what's the next one?
Yes, I just loved how Anip put the triangle in context with the industry. I have to say that that was
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, that was a wonderful connection. She made.
So the next pose is the straddle pose, and there are 4 versions. So I will do the A version, and this is a forward fold. So when we actually bend forward, I will first show the pose. We open up our legs. We start with our hands on our hips. We take a deep breath, and then we start moving, bending forward. We place our hands on the ground. We take another breath in, and then we fold into the pose. So again, keeping this pose for a good 10 breaths is working our hamstrings. And the forward folds, we have been seeing the physical aspect of the poses. There's also something that is going inside our bodies with our organs. So the forward folds works our organs, detoxifies the liver, the spleen, all the internal organs in the belly. With most of the forward folds, they start detoxifying. So I would like to put this in context with our industry. Whatever goes in the mills is our actually inside. So it's also very important to really work on the minor details of what's really going on in a system. It's a system, the whole body, mind, it's a whole system. We have to really take every part into consideration. And with the forward fold, we have to take really good care of what's going on inside our manufacturing facilities as well.
That's again a very good comparison, Ebru. I mean, we have to basically, kind of cleanse our systems. I mean, if you are, let's, as you're saying that the parts are getting clean when you do this kind of thing for our pose, and our production systems, we have to make them much more cleaner and efficient. So that's very good connect again. And okay, Annie.
So the next pose, I am going to be on the floor cord, and I think you can see me properly. So the next pose is Utkatasana. So this is one that helps with improving the flexibility of your hamstrings and hips, and it also lengthens the spine. So it's basically like a forward fold, except we're sitting on the ground, stretching our hamstrings. And this is to improve your flexibility. And it also helps strengthen your thighs as well. So that's a really great stretch for the hamstrings. And I love to relate this to the flexibility and adaptability that our industry is currently demonstrating. It's really cool to see how everyone is capitalizing on the digital means of technology right now and trying to adapt to the current times and not use the COVID-19 as an excuse to stay complacent. People are really working hard right now to think of innovative solutions and really analyze where they can be improving their businesses right now. So I'd really like to highlight that and continue to push that forward, and the notion of working together as well with that. So
I mean, you are really creating new dictionary. I would say such beautiful analogies, and it's a very good. I mean, I think probably this is something which we should probably more people should know. Definitely from the seminar also they will come to know, and it's very good way to see our industry from a different perspective.
yes, agreed.
Ebru, now next, what's there from your side?
I will finish actually with my very favorite pose. It's Navasana, the boat pose. And I love this because I really kind of imagine myself as a boat or in a boat whenever I practice this pose. And my love for blue just like emerges from this pose as well. So I find a lot of things in common with denim. So this is a pose, it's called the the Navasana, the boat pose, and you hold both of your legs up. So the legs can be straight or they can be bent. Here, the drishti is again very important. Here, we're strengthening both our back as well as our abdominal muscles. And our hamstrings are working as well. And in this pose, I like to imagine like a zipper, taking a zipper in between my heels and taking that zipper just up my neck. So it's everything compiled together. The body feels very strong. There's a very strong attention. All of both the back and the front part of the body is working equally. And this is where I watch my breath. So if I can take really a good 30 breaths here without really constraining, I feel really energized, I feel empowered, and I feel relaxed at the same time. So
30 breaths is very long. 30 breaths is very
long. This is my favorite pose. Imagine yourself sailing away. So, Navasana. Thank you.
Amazing.
That's, because you've been practicing so long, so 30 breaths is not easy. Even 5-6 breaths is difficult for many.
30 breaths in boat pose, that's a long time for me.
It's really, really long, really long one.
That was long enough for me right there. Next pose that I'll be doing is bridge pose, so it's also known as, I'm not sure.
Bridge pose, it's, yeah.
Bridge pose is, it's kind of like the back bend. So it really helps to open the chest and stretch the thighs. Your hips directly up. And you are balancing, you're not balancing, but you're putting most of the weight on your upper shoulders. So this really helps strengthen your lower back, your glutes, your hamstrings, but you're also getting that really nice stretch throughout your hips and the thighs as well. And I wanted to kind of relate this pose to here as we're moving away from more linear models.
Can't hear. Sorry, I'm losing your voice a little. Can you speak a little louder, probably?
Here, I'll come closer now that I've shown the picture. So yeah, I wanted to relate that pose to circularity as we're kind of moving towards it. That is not quite a circular pose, but as we are moving away from linear models and into circular ones, I think it's important. Relate yoga back into this as well, showcasing how things do come full circle, and we're always brought back to kind of our soul, and it's the soul. That's what we're really trying to get at in yoga. And I want us to come back to our soul in the denim industry. We were taught as kids to, if you take something, put it back. Treat people the way you wanted to be treated, as treat people the way you want to be treated. And we were also taught reduce, reuse, recycle growing up as well. So all these kind of things that we were taught growing up, I feel we have lost sight of. And I'd like for the denim community to bring those values back to the soul and to returning true values.
Yes, I think that's again a very good connect, and we really need to see how all these inspirations. Actually, we are already doing all these kind of things in our industry, but yes, when we have this kind of inspirational connect, probably it might become a little more inspiring for people to do it a little more strongly.
Yes.
So should I add one of my favorite breathing exercises? I'm sure you must be knowing about it, Anulom Vilom. You must be doing it also. So what I find that during this lockdown period, especially, I found this very useful because it helps to, this one exercise, breathing exercise, which I feel that can give you instant peace from inside, relieves your stress very fast, balances your energy inside your body, and I've seen also that it reduces your sleep requirements to a certain extent. So let me explain that. But you're already doing it. Probably the way might be a little different from you might be doing it. So you have to hold your fingers like this, and you have to, because for closing both the nostrils. So So we are trying to breathe from both the nostrils. So we inhale from the next left one first and to the count of 4 for the beginning, and we hold the breath inside for 4. We exhale from the right one for the count of 4. Again hold for 4. Again inhale from the right one for 4. Again hold for 4, and again exhale for 4 from the left one. So this way, it becomes, you kind of start gaining control over your breaths. So let's try to do it once or twice. I think there are different variations in this Anulom Vilom. So this is probably one of the variations, but I find this is very useful. It gives you immediately, you feel relaxed from inside, and definitely you'll see the increase in energy levels because of this. So I think these were wonderful poses you had shown, and especially the relation that we are trying to establish, which already probably is there in some way between the industry, denim industry, and yoga in some ways. But we really need to probably consciously make it stronger, inspiration-wise. So, and the biggest inspiration what I can see from both of you is that you are wearing your jeans so comfortably doing the yoga. So that itself is the biggest connect and biggest inspiration. So, oh yeah, Annie.
Yeah, it's I definitely see denim. I can wear my jeans no problem doing all of these. These are high stretch from Prosperity Textiles. I'm not exactly sure the fabric, but it's Revelation too. So there is a mindfulness aspect to these jeans as well. So I definitely see there being a place for denim in the yoga space. And I definitely would like to see people take more inspiration from yoga practice and apply it to either their businesses or the way they're design or the way they think
Ebru, you want to say something?
Yes, and I was quite comfortable in my jeans as well. And this is a pair from our sorties last season, High Energy, where we put a little bit of tensile, trying to enhance the sustainability impact of our jeans. And I think there's a lot of, again, room for growth in making jeans that are compatible to our daily activities as well as our home activities, and yeah, I mean that's a part that we can innovate further in our industry.
What ounce this jeans both of you are wearing is like approximately?
Pardon?
What is the weight of the fabric which the jeans you are wearing is like what ounce?
12.
12 ounce. Oh, even 12 ounce. Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine is like 10 and a half and 11 ounce.
Okay. And if the weight goes down, let's say if somebody tries to create the super stretch jeans in 6 ounce or 7 ounce, do you think that will make it much more interesting?
Yes.
If they still keep their denim aspect, yes. But if they start losing their denim aspect, I think then I would prefer them looser instead of just like skinnies.
And I'm sure now, because we are playing this in our Denimsandjeans virtual show, so people who are already in the show have been, doing business and probably, also tired of some meetings, and also probably this will be very relaxing for them, because they are at home watching, joining this virtual show, and so they can also take a break and try some of your poses, wonderful poses that you've shown us.
Yeah,
Definitely.
hope they get to practice with us as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Definitely. If you were able to get up and do those poses with us, that was great. We appreciate your participation.
Yeah, I could, but I set up this thing in a way that yes, I mean the people can do it, but yes, I did not join you because you were doing so well, so I don't think I could do so well, so probably that would not be the best way to do it. But anyway, I thank you so much, both of you. It's been a wonderful session, and I think it's a very unique session where we are trying to create a different kind of inspiration and connect in our industry and yoga and denim.
Thank you.
So thank you so
Thank
much.
you both. This was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much and really appreciate. Thank you.